the positives out of the experience was that I had quite a large record deal.
Nice.
We went to New York. I met Chucky, and what was insane about that was Chucky produced Mary's album, and I didn't really even know all this. It just manifested, right? So when he was saying, you know, he made the My Life album and stuff, and I was just like,
crazy album.
Whoa, I'm sitting with the man that has made the album of the person
That's
I look up to. Like, it's so deep. And he was saying to me, you know, you remind me so much of her because of all the domestic violence stuff. And because Mary's come from, she's a bit hood, do you know what I mean? So he said, you remind me so much of that struggle. And I just sat there like, wow, like how have I done that? It was, I didn't even really have the confidence, if that makes sense, because it was so overwhelming that I was quite like,
because that's a lot to deal with.
It was.
That's a lot to deal with. My thing with what you're saying, it's very interesting, and I want to just pick this apart quickly. It feels like, especially in the UK back then, record labels didn't know what they were doing.
It was a very weird time for me because if you remember, in that era, it was like indie became really popular and garage seemed to be, and kind of, I guess, UK R&B was just on a real decline. So indie was very much the big thing. So I feel like I kind of caught the kind of either front end or tail end of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you did. You probably did. Like, but it's like I'm looking at the mistakes that they are making when they've got you on the label, and the people that you surrounded yourself with intentionally, and they didn't use that to their advantage. Now, a record label is supposed to be a business to make money, and these people that you've got featured on your album are big deals, and it's like. Because they ain't put out the music properly. They're not putting the units out in the stores in time or efficiently enough, and then they're wondering why an artist is just going to look to dip.
They could have repackaged, even though the song was on the album, they could have repackaged the Santana song and the Jim Jones song as like a 2-pack, like a side, like remember, was it side A, side B?
Side B, yeah.
They could have packaged it like that and just been like a UK meets Dipset or something. And that could have given the album even more legs to the point where people are like, oh, yo, what Jim's got? Dipset, because we all know, and it was a time, you just had to be there. When Dipset was
wilding out,
it was fun.
It was one of the best times to be outside.
Yeah.
So they've missed out on that. They've missed out on not restocking the albums. And it's just like, you're right, there was a weird time where the Oasis and the Blurs and all that came to the forefront.
Yep.
And then something happened. I want to say around M's time, maybe. I feel like M was kind of the one, and then everyone else was just followed through where hip-hop became like this. Everyone's scrambling. We need someone who could put 2 words together over a beat.
No, you're right.
And sign them up.
Right. One of the reasons why I played the Guru DJ Premier record, not just because of the actual instrumentation, but I'm a heavy hip-hop fan. Like, that's my thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but then when I say that to say, when I think about back in the day and the way that the system was set up with the record labels, hip hop music was an American. It was East Coast, and it was that way driven. And obviously, we had our own sound. I just feel like they just didn't have the foresight to understand what they could have done with you with the music that they had. Do you know what I mean? That beat's crazy, bro. And then you've met them, and they've given you the alley-oop.
You could have been one of the first to have so many like posse cut remixes.
Crazy.
Where like the North London remix where it's got like, I don't know, let's say like a Bashi, shout out to Bashi, like a Bashi,
shout out to Bash,
a Skepta, Jeremy, whatever on there. They could have had like the East London remix of that where it's like the Wileys and you know what I mean? Like, that's like, they fumbled. Whoever they are. I hope you got fired because you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're dumb. Which leads me onto your Aftershock connection. How did that Aftershock connection happen?
So, as I said, originally I was about. So I knew everyone in the grime scene and I was always writing tunes. So that was kind of what we did every day, whether it was Static or Skepta or Da Vinci. I was around. And
I had it.
Remember that Ryder Richies? That lives rent free in my head. Shout out to Da Vinci. Man.
Yeah, so I was about. Do you know what I mean? I was always in studio or events or raves. And I can't remember exactly how me and Terror met. I can't remember. It might have been at an event, but he was just a cool guy.
Yeah, he was.
And he used to say to me, he always used to say, Gemma, you're so underrated. People don't know what you can do. They haven't heard all the back catalogue stuff and whatever. And it was just nice. He was just very laid back. There was no like, how can you say, like it wasn't like a false pretense and he was interested in designer. He just like, you check for you, and it was just what you can do. So we just used to roll. We used to go to his house and just chill, vibe, and then it just became a bit of a movement. So I kind of just naturally became part of Aftershock.
So off the back of that, how are you? Because obviously, unfortunately, you know, he has transitioned. Like, how have you been dealing with that? For someone that's worked so closely with him, and you know that era was different to this era. This era, you can make relationships over like email or DMs or whatever.
Yeah, this was
based on what you just said. Like, how have you been coping with that?
Do you know what? I mean, slightly going personal, I've had quite a lot of losses. So I have kind of got a weird thing about when people pass, I kind of like close up, you know what I mean? Yeah. But, you know, like it has affected me. Of course, it's going to affect me. Yeah. I have my moments, you know, when we're laughing, and other times I think, oh, fucking knock him out. And then other times I'm like, I love that guy. And other times I'm upset. You know, we've got a song together called Let Feelings Grow that was on the Aftershock album that I did with Too Nice. And I said the other day, oh, I'm never going to be able to sing that song because Too Nice passed and now Terror. So for me, you know, that's just a song that I could never do. But Terror was a massive innovator. He had his own style. Yep. He believed in a lot of people. He brought a lot of people together. He was a cheeky chap. He was, you know. And yeah, he will be missed by us all, you know. And I saw that at Chip's event, this was it yesterday, the day before, Bruiser shouted him out, which was nice. So
we need to celebrate him. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't feel like we may have celebrated him enough while he was getting his flowers.
Yeah, but and you know what? That's something that really annoys me about like this country and even like the culture of our UK music is that we don't celebrate enough each other, right? We do not give each other our flowers. We always wait, and it really frustrates me. They can't see it when you're putting up a post going, you did this for me, you did this for whatever. That's great, but that's about you. That's not about them. Tell them what they've done for you, for the scene, while they're here. Facts. And then people can digest that and appreciate. You know what I mean? 100%. So there's one thing I hate about our, you know, we've got to do better. We've got to do better.
It's the UK's bad vibes. Some genius mentioned that the last pod. I don't know who he was, like skin, tall, freckle faced guy, but someone mentioned like
we got to do better. We got to do better.
Someone needs to hear that though.
With Terror, it hit me. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you and sit here and go when people pass away in the celebrity industry, I'm like I'm gonna not sleep tonight.
But there is people that have an effect on you. Yes, do you know what I mean? Like Terror is one. Yes. You know, and there are people that, even if you haven't met them, just what you've seen online can be so deep and engaging that you can tell they're a good person, their intention's pure, that you can be. I never met Kobe Bryant, but when he passed away, I was grieving like he was my friend. I was so upset. So sometimes even just your influence or, you know, things people see online, they can connect, you know, and but how are you feeling with it?
Like when I found out, because it was a rumbling, and then I made some phone calls, and it was true, and then I was like, okay, cool, and I sat in my car for a bit, and I was just thinking about all the times he used to come to the studio, because don't remember, we used to be in King's Cross, remember the studio in King's Cross we always at, and he used to come down. You passed through a few times. Bruiser was on my mixtape. He's the one that got DWE on my mixtape. He was the one that kind of was that, because obviously I'm West London. Yeah. And then he got all the East lot on there. Then and Wretch ended up down there, and all those people. And he was like somebody who just cared.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't have that bone in. He didn't have a malicious bone in his body.
He didn't have
like,
ego.
That's it.
Which again is another issue that we all have. Right? He didn't have ego. He just was like a connector. He knew everyone.
Yes.
And people love and respect him, so they would show up for him.
But
and
he could have had
everyone.
ego, you know.
He could have, but he never ever did.
But he didn't have it. That was the sweet thing about it. It was like, he's one of those who was entitled to have ego.
He could have said he was a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
He was a clear gatekeeper. He could have gone, no.
But he always had the keys in his hand like that for if he needed them. Take them, use them, bring them back. Well, yeah, he was cool, man. Whenever I used to see him, we used to just bust joke and just like, yo, so y'all got some new music to come through. And I was like, send the thing through, man. You talking to me like you have to do some kind of call up and all. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, like you said, there's some passings that happen that you're like, oh man, condolences to their family. And there's some passes that happen and you're like,
it affected me.
Just let me chill for a couple minutes. You know
you've inspired me, Gemma, now that we're going to have to actually do a segment on him at some point in time, just on him.
Yeah.
Do our due diligence, do our research, and just give him his flowers because
he deserves it.
It's just not enough online, and I don't really care about online stuff. It's personal stuff that I really care about the most. But yeah, that affected me.
But I see what you're saying about the online thing. But there's generations that have grown up that weren't there when Terror was.
100%.
Those names where it's like, yo, if you need some fire, you need to go check TD. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
They need to be educated on what Terror Danjah did for the scene. Because a lot of them, you know, the Skeptors and the Kanos of the world, this, that, and the third, like, they've gone past probably way longer than they probably expected to be in the game. So the new generation know the Skeptors, the Kanos, the JMEs, the Gets. You know what I mean? They probably don't know Gets from being ghetto. They just know Gets from when he decided, I'm going to do this new path. Boom, boom. But we, and especially the online community, need to do better to educate about those that came before. Like, when's the last time you heard about Da Vinci? Now the name just popped up. I'm thinking about this guy gave us P's and Q's.
Wonder was good. Da Vinci,
We need like a monthly thing where these online spots highlight someone and just
I think that's so important. But even down to hip hop as well. Because
for sure.
you know, people like yourself, Rodney P. Like that's what I like for
MCD.
me. Like UK hip hop. That was for me, it was that kind of era, you know. And I feel like a lot of like those type of artists that really kick down the doors for UK hip hop, they're not mentioned, and they should be. Do you know what I mean? So
ahead of our time, for sure. Well, I feel
but it's foundation. You can't ever you can't ignore foundations. No, you have to know where things started. You know, so
and keep telling the stories. That's
100%.
Keep telling us the end because the story's gonna far outlive all of us. We're just chapters in the book. But before we move on, I want to ask you something because we talk about hip hop a lot. So here's a scenario, Gemma, you're at home minding your business, you're about to go studio to lay down some vocals just because something's popped up in your head and you're like, I want to go to lay this down so it's there. Your manager, say Dan the man's your manager, he gets a call that's based off of a DM that says, hey yo, Aubrey Drake Graham needs a feature. He needs a vocal from you. But then Dan gets another call and the manager for Kendrick Lamar says, hey, we need a feature from you. My question to you is, if you have those two calls, which studio are you going to lay down the feature?
So it's obvious I'm going to go to Kendrick, right?
Okay. All right.
But some people might go, because I've seen online that they're saying that Drake has more streams. So it depends what your driver is.
Yeah, facts.
So if you want to be more commercial and streams, some people might go to Drake. But personally, I would be Kendrick because I'm more about like...
the music, the art. The art.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Facts. I like that.
And
he
was. I like that.
As of last week or so, Kendrick's the only artist with a double diamond song in Humble. Yeah. But that's interesting. But you know what? I should have known your answer because
I knew Gemma's answer. I knew
because of what you said about Primo and Guru. I thought I'd just ask that because as you're an artist, I was like, what if? When I was at home, I was like, what if an artist gets that call from both camps?
See, I think that depends what the artist wants to do. Some people want to be commercial or make, stream, and some people are more about the art, quality, the art.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
Well, we saw you recently, just on the road. And with DJ AG.
Hey,
what the hell? I was like,
sorry. Mobile host.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
You got AG. You know what I'm saying? You got yourself, sir. Come on. Yeah, man. It's good when it organically happens. Like
what happened there? Would you just wanted to pop out and show?
I'll give you the backstory. Do you know what it is, right? So I did all this music a long time ago, right? So I've been doing Wife and other business things.
We're going to talk.
So this year, with a lot of people that have passed away, I said to my husband, this year, I just want to be authentically Gemma.
Yeah.
Because a lot of pictures are very static. You know, we all do our best life.
Like a documentary.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, I'm just like, I'm 45, soon to be 46. I'm a mum, I'm a grandma, I'm a wife.
Snack.
I just want to be me. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't. So I could have rolled up and just done a whole show. I was like, I don't want to show that side. I want people to know Gemma, the funny, goofy, kind, sharing, wife, mum, grandchildren. So I rocked up with everybody and I just did it very natural. And some people thought, oh, you come across shy. But it wasn't that. It was just... I just wanted to be in the moment. My mum was there. It was just about sharing,
reminding.
It was just nice to pop up and go, this is me. And I didn't know what anyone was going to say, but the love that I got on his Insta was so nice. I was like, I can't believe it. It's had I think 60,000 views or something.
Have you got the itch? Is it itch?
I have got the itch. Well, this is why when, he called and was like, let's do it. I was like, 100%. Because again, this is me now being Gemma and just sharing me and what I do, So that's the plan this year, is just to do things where people can see me. But can I just say, he is the nicest person. He deserves like an OBE or something. Like, he's so genuine. He's so kind. He's thoughtful. Anyone can rock up, and no matter whether, the type of person or whatever, he's got time for you and he's letting you have your moment to shine. So all props to AG.
Shout out to AG.
My only hope for AG is this time in 2028, we can still have this type of conversation. Because you know what we're like over here? We gravitate to what's hot right now.
Facts.
And then we'll run it to the ground. Run it into the ground. And then we're like, oh yeah, remember when? Do you know what I mean? So I hope he gets a nice situation where it's either he gets a radio show or he gets another hosting gig or something where it's like
100%.
He can, if he decides to not do what he's doing right now for the foreseeable future, at least he's still got something else to do. Because you could just see through the camera, you're like, this guy seems cool. Like, I don't know him.
He is cool. And it's not an act. Like, he isn't it? He's just genuinely... just a genuine guy. Even in his messages, because at first I was a bit nervous. I was like, oh my God, I haven't done something like this before. And he was like, no, it's cool. Listen, no pressure. Through. You don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. We can, just a nice guy. So he deserves his flowers.
Yeah, we should.
You should definitely reach out to him because he does a lot of stuff in like care homes and things like that, which is just like he includes everybody. So you should definitely get him on.
Yeah, we will. We'll reach out to him. We'll figure something out. Yeah. After music, at that period of time where everything, you left the label, Aftershocks, the whole Aftershock thing, what direction did you go into? What happened?
So, I'll come back to like business stuff after, but sort of reversing a little bit. I went and done a PA, or I got my first PA up north, and it was going to be in this club called Niche.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, the remix of Girlfriend goes off. And I was like, really? Okay. Like, I'd normally do like the R&B type thing. So I was a bit baffled as to what was going to happen. Anyway, we went up. I think this was like 2004, 2005. And it went off. And I went into Niche, Club Niche, and it was just the most insane thing I've ever seen. Like, I used to rave a lot, as we've talked about, but this was a different level. This was, everyone was just going mad at like 4/4 beats. It was sick. I was sold on that first night, like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I sort of just stepped into that lane and started doing more niche things. So like I had Dexplicit Might Be. Delinquent Gone, different songs. I just stayed in that scene because I enjoyed it. The people loved the music, they support you, the raves were ram, it was good vibes. So I just kind of ventured more into that scene, which was fun.
That the just trying to put a time on it in my head, like was that the whole like Heartbroken T2
just before that? So that come after, but it was around.
So you was ahead of that as well.
Yeah,
crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was the first.
You know the lottery numbers. Just,
you know, like that.
But I don't want to be the first. I want to be the successful one at some point, please. It would be nice.
You have to be the one to open the door, so everyone else can. Do you know what I mean? But
but it was good.
That's crazy,
and I still do it. I love it very much. I'm doing more songs now. I've got shows.
Good.
Coming,
what's up?
Good.
Yeah.
She's still working on the craft as well.
Yes. Only just. I had a break.